Hello and welcome back to my channel, Divine Libra Wisdom. This is the reading for May for air signs to see what the energies will be like for May, as well as certain themes or things that you may be experiencing this month. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Sorry, hopefully that went loud. Of course, my voice wants to act up whenever I'm trying to talk. And record this video, of course. Anyway, so air signs, I know that we are 4 days in the month of May. I'm a little late doing these readings, but again, as I said in the earth sign reading, divine timing, okay? Everything happens in divine time. So if you're here listening to this now, then you were meant to hear it, okay? And it's never too late. Okay. So we're going to get started. I'm going to go through the tarot first, and then we're going to go through the oracle cards afterward. Now, occasionally, if something pops out with the oracle cards and it connects to the tarot, then I may bounce around the cards, of course. But for the most part, we're going to go through tarot first, oracle cards. And then at the end, of course, as always, I will give you your affirmation for the month of May. Okay, so getting started, we have the Five of Wands, you have the Knight of Pentacles, and then you have Death. Okay, so starting with the Five of Wands. So with the Five of Wands, this is, depicting people sort of, or it's like a group of women who have their wands or have their sticks, and they have them raised, and they're looking like they're about to go into a battle. So to me, this card signifies I'm not necessarily getting like a physical fight. I don't necessarily get that, but I get more so that it feels as if things are sort of like coming at you left and right, or have been. And it's like no matter what, it seems like you cannot get a break, if that makes sense. And I'm an air sign, so speaking from personal experience, yes, things have sort of popped up here and there. And it's just like, oh my goodness, when is it? When will it end? That's what I can sort of hear air signs saying right now, is when will it end? But anyway, so, there may be some, obstacles to overcome for the month of May, but I really feel like that you will be overcoming these obstacles. Just looking at the other cards, as well as Death at the end there. We already know what, death signifies, but we're going to get to that in a moment. Where I'm still here on, or focused on, the Five of Wands. And so Five of Wands, also the number 5 is very much surrounding the theme of change. So there could be a need for you to, for air signs to sort of change their mindset about whatever these obstacles are or issues are. Even though there may be obstacles, there's always a way around them. You know what I mean? It may not always present itself right away. But that's the beauty of things, prayer, if that's what you believe in, or just taking some kind of action and saying, okay, I may not be able to do this certain thing, but I can do this thing over here. It's all about seeing like the blessings out of things, and that may be a little woo-woo for some people, or I'm not very, it could be sort of like, for some people overly positive, but And it's hard. It is hard. I can understand, sometimes it can be hard to see the positive in things where it's always seems like there's something happening, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like you can't get so down in the dumps that you just completely give up, you know what I'm saying? Because if you give up, then, things will stay the same, So that's the whole point of it is just, even though, the odds may be against you, or at least it feels that way, it's not going to stay that way. So that's something to keep in mind. It's just that, don't allow for obstacles to take you off your game. It may trip you up, but don't let it take you out the game, if that makes sense. All right, so moving right along to Knight of Pentacles. So with the Knight of Pentacles, this is someone who's very disciplined, or disciplined rather. And funny enough, the affirmation for air signs this month is self-discipline. But yeah, this is someone who's very disciplined, balanced, as you can see, like in the card. On the card, the figure on the horse is sort of like balancing this coin in their hand. So yeah, it's all up to me. It's like about balance, about being responsible, hardworking. Also, with the with Pentacles coming out, a lot of air signs could be focused on their money, and this could also be one of the obstacles, or several issues surrounding abundance, or money. Excuse me. As that's associated with this Knight of Pentacles. So yeah, I'm getting that that laser like focus on that pentacle, or that coin that the figure is looking at. They're balancing it, but they're also very hyper focused on it, like they don't want to drop it. But there could have been something where, they're on shaky ground, of course. So yeah. So going to the card Death. Death does not mean physical death. It's more so about changing. And we already mentioned, or I already mentioned change with the number 5, because it's all about change. It's all about new direction, a change in perspective. So with Death, to me, that card is more so, or unaliving. I don't know. Sometimes YouTube is kind of weird about, that word. So I'll say unaliving going forward. So unaliving, the unaliving card, it's all about transformation, right? It's all about new beginnings, perhaps. And I think about that Ten of Swords card. When it comes to the unaliving card, for some reason, it just kind of, those two sort of go together for me. But it's like, I think about someone who's like very, very down, deep in the dumps. They've hit rock bottom, and it's sort of kind of like a, I don't know where to go from here type energy. However, yeah. It's about rebirth. It's about changes. It's about, yes, whatever these obstacles may have torn me down, and made me not sort of trust in myself. But at the same time, I can't stay stuck here. I can't stay laying here, Ten of Swords, with these knives, or make-believe knives, stuck inside of myself. I need to get up. In any way, shape, or type of form. I have to get up. And so that's, you have to rise. You have to rise. You have to rise from the unalive. That's bars right there. Okay. That rhyme. Anyway. So, Okay, going to the oracle cards. So with Queen Nefertiti, alchemy, and with the Five of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Unalive card, alchemy is about change, right? It's about transforming one thing into another thing. So with these obstacles, air signs, you are being called this month, the month of May, to make necessary changes, to overcome these obstacles. You're being called to take any type of action, steps, find workarounds, find ways to, if you can't do one thing that you want to do something else. It's all about keeping yourself busy, keeping yourself, keeping things light, keeping your mood, regulated, keeping yourself grounded. Okay. And, making sure that you are, the things that you're trying to bring to fruition, you're putting it into motion. You're actively working towards it and not just sitting idly by, just allowing things to just happen. Okay. You have to do the work. You can't it's not just going to fall in your lap. Okay. And I'm speaking to myself because I'm an air sign too. And I have to, get on myself, because sometimes even for me, I tend to procrastinate for one. And then also, sometimes we may get into this, this mindset where we feel like things are just going to fall in our laps, and that's just not the case. You have to put in the work. You have to. All right. And so going to, I'm so not good with some of these names, but I'm going to say Kuyant, I believe. Hopefully that I'm saying that correctly. I don't know. But anyway, the card is scarcity. And it goes perfectly with the Knight of Pentacles, because what I said was I really honed in on the fact that even though the figure in the card is balancing that coin, they're very, very focused on it. And it's like they don't want to, part with it. They don't want it to drop out of their hand. So that's why they're balancing it. But when you have a scarcity mindset, it's anything but balancing, right? Because you at any point or any sort of mild inconvenience, any sort of setback, it'll set you off, and that lack mindset will creep in. And so, the way to avoid that lack mindset is to realize how abundant, how seeing the blessings and the obstacles, like I said, seeing what is going well as opposed to what's not going well. Once you turn your focus on that helps you a little bit, that helps you more. You realize and you understand that, okay, even though A, B, and C may not be going well for me, there's other things that are, you know what I mean? So try to envision yourself overcoming these obstacles that you're going through. Envision yourself, being where you want to be. And I've also found that sort of sketching out, or however, in whatever way you would like to do it, whether it's typing it up on a computer, writing it out on a notepad, writing it out on your phone, in your notes app. Just sort of, sit with yourself, put on some Zen music, meditation music, whatever. As long as it's not distracting to you, whatever floats your boat. Put some music on, or static, or what is it called? White noise. Whatever the case, whatever helps you to concentrate, to focus, and just give yourself maybe like 10 to 15 minutes and just daydream a little bit about what your perfect situation or perfect outcome would be as it pertains to these obstacles, or, say that you're trying to, you did all these, tried to launch certain things and it didn't pan out or it didn't work out or whatever. See yourself how you want to see it, how you want it to be, how you want reality to be, and write that out. Because when you have a clear and concise idea about what it is that you want, you're able to move forward without any issues, without any obstacles. So try that if that's something that, you think would help. And then going to Mama Wata, Naked. To me, Naked is also just about rebirth, right? It's about not being afraid to be seen, not being afraid to be heard. Just allowing yourself to be sort of free of these mindsets and these ideals that sort of hold you back. And so when you're naked, you're stripped of all that. You're stripped of all that negativity. You're stripped of all the things that were weighing you down, because, clothes, those types of things that can weigh you down. But when you're completely devoid of those things, you're free. You're open to sort of, start anew, if that makes sense. And especially with the Mami Wata card, Naked, being aligned with the Unalive card, it just really drives home the point of freedom. You're free of all the things that were holding you back before, you went through this transformation, before you went through this rebirth. Now you're on the path to starting anew, like I said, and sort of going into a new direction. So, whenever the pathway has obstacles on it or some kind of obstruction, you go around it, you go over it, you go through it, whatever, to get to the other side, if that makes sense. So, yeah. So, air signs, again, the affirmation for you all for the month of May is self-discipline. Okay? So, with self-discipline, we already know what that means. That means being focused on your end goals, not allowing obstacles to stop you, not allowing distractions to stop you, because that also can deal with self-discipline, and this can also deal with, not overindulging in certain things, not, falling off or, allowing bad habits to take over. You know what I mean? This is sort of like getting on top of these obstacles so they don't get out of hand. Any type of preventative measures, you could possibly take, thinking of those things as well. All right. So hopefully this message resonated. Hopefully it helped. If you want, and I forgot to mention this in my previous reading, which was the earth sign reading. If it did, definitely drop a comment down in the comment section. Let me know. And look forward to the June readings coming up soon for the month, of course, the month of June. And yeah, gonna end it right here. Thank you so much for listening. Give me a like, give me a share if you think some other air signs might like this reading. And consider subscribing so you can be notified for when I drop new readings, which new readings are coming. So yeah, thank you so much, air signs, for listening. Again, look forward to June coming up soon. All right, and other readings. All right, have a good night.